I don't really play augmented chords, so Google augmented chords and you can add them to your repertoire. It's a flat 5. So if a 1, if this low A is a 1, and then this is a 5, you know, if you flat it, obviously that doesn't sound very good. That's the kind of, I think they used to use that technique back in the Greek times, where they'd sing that when armies would charge, and it would like just kind of throw people off, like, oh, what is that horrible sound? It's the reason that that ambulances and police trucks and whatnot have that sound. And then they go by you. Because it's just such a, you notice it because it's just off. But I don't play a whole lot of augmented stuff, so I'm not going to get into that. But what I would like to show you is just kind of how this works a little bit. Once you learn the chords down here, go ahead and Google the same types of chords up here. I'm not going to go through all of them. And then also Google the same chords starting on not just this low E, but Google them starting on this string, and then Google them starting on this string, and then Google 3-note chords with these 3 songs. So that's when you get into when you look at these chord books where there's a million different chords. Most of them are just the same chords in different places. The guitar is the most repeated notes in different places of any instrument. So the piano, everything's laid out, no note's the same. It's very easy to conceptually learn a piano. Guitar, people get confused because this note, is the same as, well, actually not that note. At any rate, there's notes repeated all over the guitar itself. So don't get bogged down. Just learn how to play an A7. You want to play this version, where it's got that note in there? I prefer not to play that note and just play it with 3 fingers. Learn how to play an A7, that starts, over here. Learn how to play, a D7 here. Learn how to play D7 down here. And then once you do that, these chords that are down here, they're really useful for playing with a piano and a bass player. When you're playing by yourself, most guitarists tend to play these lower strings here. You got a piano and a bass player, or somebody's playing a solo. You'll hear a guitar player play here, so you'll see these kind of chords mostly in jazz. I'll just play a little bit for you here without going into the names of the chords or the theory or anything like that. That's pretty horrible, obviously, but you get the idea. And then one other thing I would like to go ahead and teach you here before I let you go off and do your own thing, and hopefully by now you're pretty much able to do that, but I'm just going to caution you about scales. You're going to want to play chords more than you play scales. If you watch a jazz show or a rock show or pretty much anything, even if you're watching one of these things where somebody does a 10-minute solo, there's still 90 minutes when they're playing chords. So you're going to play chords mostly, spend most of your time learning chords. Playing scales, I think, is mostly useful for being able to play something in between the chords. You might, in jazz they call them passing tones. So I mean that's really what I'm going to say. And a guitar is not a saxophone. There's a reason that saxophone players, play over singers and play 20-minute solos and then play over other people soloing, is because they can only play one note at a time. I could totally understand where you would get into that mentality, because that's what you do. You're practicing. You're just, I mean, and you want to be able to show what you're good at. So you're constantly playing these solos. That's why saxophone players are generally very annoying. And it's hard to find one that doesn't want to play over everyone and play 20-minute solos that halfway through people are just like, okay, this sucks. So I mean, that's the best thing about a guitar, is that it can, when it's required to play solo, it can be a saxophone, for that little, 8/16 bars, 32 bars if you think you're Charlie Christian. Otherwise, to be a rhythmic player, be an accompaniment to the piano. And when I say that, just keep in mind a piano has 72 keys, it's big and it's loud. So you're not going to out-piano the piano. So listen to what the piano player is doing. If he's playing chromatic changes, if he's playing augmented changes, if he plays mostly dominant stuff, play whatever he's playing. It's not going to work the other way. He's not going to listen to you and start playing his chord changes and styles based on what you're doing. So that's why it's really good to learn